What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Young Guns podcast. You guys could call this a hot takes episode. You guys could call this a realistic episode. Shane Wright is not doing what we all expected. We thought he was going to have an immediate impact, the way that Matty Beniers is doing right now for Seattle, and unfortunately, that is not the case. If I'm not mistaken, he's been scratched for the majority of the start of the season so far. I think he's only played like what 3 games. He
Five.
record 5 games, record 1 assist only, and the assist was nothing special. Basically, the puck essentially hit him. Didn't really know about it. Went against the boards. One of the players took it. If I'm not mistaken, it was Bjorkstrand or Burakovsky. Brings up the puck, plays it down in the middle, and Donato scores the goal. And there you go. There you have it. That was Shane Wright's first assist. Didn't really do much on the play, to be honest with you. But yeah, guys, we all know that Shane Wright, was supposed to go first overall. There was all this talk in Montreal at the time during the draft that he was going to go first overall. Then Slavkovsky goes first overall. Then it's Simon Nemec. And then after it's Logan Cooley. And then he falls to number 4 to Seattle Kraken, where everyone's like, wow, this is an absolute steal. But if you look at what he's doing right now, it seems like it was not a steal. It seems like there was reasoning behind that. And today we're going to be discussing why Shane Wright, essentially fell to number 4 and what's going on in terms of his situation in Seattle and should he be sent down to the OHL.
Well,
And yeah.
well, I think let's first talk about this. Like, I don't want to come on. This is not an episode that we're gonna go and start bashing Shane, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a guy that's played 5 NHL games, 5, and you know, for me, what I don't understand is that when you look at Seattle and you watch the team play and you watch um everything that's going on, and you see a guy like Matty Beniers playing the way he's playing, it doesn't really make any sense to me as to why Shane Wright's not in the lineup. And the reason why is just because this Seattle's not expected to make the playoffs. Let's be completely honest with each other here. They're probably rebuilding again. They're probably going to be in the Bedard sweepstakes by the end of the season. So this is a team that is basically in a development year. They're kind of like the Canadians. They're in a development year, and they're they should be using their young guys, and they're not. And I think that what's disappointing is that you've got this guy who you drafted 4th overall, and yes, was he NHL ready? Probably not. Right? He probably wasn't NHL ready. But if he's not NHL ready, and if Dave Haxtell is not willing to play him, then send him down. Because why are you keeping him in the NHL to say, oh, he's got to learn, he's got to do this, he's got to do that? Listen, the only way a guy's going to learn is if he plays. If he doesn't play, how is he going to learn? And if he's
Yeah.
playing 8 minutes a night or 7 minutes a night,
Well, he's
you're not
averaging
learning.
right now about 6 minutes, and he's currently playing 4 line minutes.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this is a
you're not going to
guy
do
that
anything.
that elevates his play when he plays a top role. And yes, I understand there's better players than him at the moment in the top 6, but given him opportunity, like Slavkovsky, right? He was playing 3rd line minutes for the longest time. They put him on the power play, and he scored. And a power play that the Montreal Canadiens really haven't been doing anything, right? So the Seattle Kraken don't really have anything to lose. Like you were saying, they're probably going to finish as a bottom tier team in the bottom 10, probably in the standings, right? So if the plan is to keep Shane Wright, which, management has made that clear that, we're hoping that he's going to stay for the rest of the season. That's their intentions. Well, if you're going to be doing this to him for the whole season, this guy's gonna have zero confidence. And how you expect him to essentially prove his haters wrong, prove the teams that passed up on him wrong, if he's not even playing, if he's averaging 6 minutes a night, right? So um I do believe that he needs to be given more of an opportunity. They need to trust him a lot more. I understand that his face-off numbers are not the best,
Yeah.
being a center, but it's only normal. He's a kid. Like, you have to understand, and this is why I think he also fell to 4th overall. Maybe there was an attitude problem, but you have to understand how many games did he miss due to COVID, right?
Yeah.
It stalled his development essentially because he was slated to go number 1 for the longest time. Then come draft day, what a disaster for him, right? And he felt he was devastated, and his dad had to give him a pep talk, which you guys could find online. Which trying to console his son, which he feels bad for, because when you're hearing the media always say you're gonna go first overall, you're gonna go first overall, you're gonna go first overall, the Canadians are gonna interview and this and that, and you're being hyped up and you're expected to go first overall. And then when that doesn't happen and you get passed on by two other teams and you fall to fourth, it diminishes your confidence. And I really was pulling for this kid. You know, I was really hoping that he was gonna have an impact and do something, but it seems like his own team doesn't want him to even prove people wrong at this point. Like, there's sent
I
to the OHL, and I know that there's rumors um that Jeff Merrick was saying that if he gets sent down to the OHL, that the Kingston Frontenacs are actually gonna trade him.
Because they suck.
Yeah,
Well, but like, and I don't blame him. I mean, listen, you know, we always talk about prospects, right? And you know, everybody looks at prospects, and everybody looks at prospects differently. But one thing you need to have, especially when you're 18 and 19 years old and 20 years old, and you're trying to make the NHL, or you're on the fringe of making the NHL, players need to play. If players don't play at that age, they're they're gonna be behind everybody else in the curve. So no matter what, whether Shane Wright plays another game in the NHL or whether he gets sent down to the OHL, he's got to play. One way or another, he needs to be on the ice. He needs to touch the puck. He needs to make sure that he's learning the concepts, right? One of the things that Montreal has done really well with Slavkovsky and even other prospects, and I'll give you an example, a team like Minnesota with Matt Boldy last year, they didn't start him off on the top line. They didn't start him off with elite players, but they played them. You know, Matt Boldy started in the AHL last year. He was top line in the AHL when he came in. He came out of college. He played a couple of games for Minnesota, did well. Then went to the AHL. Started off in the AHL, played a lot of minutes, got called up, and now he's one of the best players for Minnesota this season. It, you know, everybody needs to go through their own development path. But what I'm trying to say in this situation is, you've got a kid that was drafted first overall that's not playing, and yes, it's 5 games into the year, but like, I'll give you an example. His grandparents were in attendance for the road trip that Seattle was on,
yeah. There was a
and
homestand for
a
3 games. He
homestand.
didn't
Sorry,
play
yeah,
any of those 3 games.
and like that to me, no offense there, and I know that, like, listen, hockey's a business, and you know you're gonna play your best players, but you know that Shane Wright's grandparents are in town. You know that, right? You know that they're there to see him. You know that they come to the games. So Dave Haxtell has nothing to lose, nothing at all to lose, to play Shane Wright for one game in front of his grandparents, so his grandparents get to have an opportunity and a memory to see their grandson play. And listen, you know what? If he's not NHL ready, he's not NHL ready. But I'll be honest, in the shifts that he's looked in the small time that I've watched him play in the NHL, he hasn't looked that bad. Like, we're not talking about a kid, oh my God, he's so out of place. Like, he's a good guy that I think you can play and put him in a position to do. But look at Matty Beniers. Matty Beniers came in last year, they threw him on the top line. After college, they threw him on the top line. But why? He dominated college. If you're going to play Shane Wright, well, okay, you're not going to play him? Perfect. Send him to the OHL. Let him dominate. Why? Well, because he missed a development year in the OHL, so he needs to go and dominate the OHL and be dominant. If he's not going to dominate and if he's not going to play, how is he going to develop?
You know, I understand. You know, Shane Wright is a name that draws attention. It's good for ticket sales. It's good for merchandise, but you can't really capitalize on that if he's not playing. Like, who are you showcasing exactly? I understand the Seattle Kraken. You know, they have marketable names like Jared McCann, for example, Burakovsky, Bjorkstrand, Schwartz, Beniers, Yanni Gord. I understand that, right? But the thing is that Shane Wright, you know, had, you know, essentially first overall potential. Don't
Yeah.
tell me that the fan base is not excited to go see a kid like Shane Wright play, right? So, I mean, look, is he a bust? No, he's not, because it's way
It's too
too
early.
early to tell. It's way
Yeah.
too early. And right now, it's not he's a victim essentially. He's a victim due to what happened
He's
to
not
him
being used properly.
during COVID and how his own team is managing him at the point at this moment, right? And at this point, I think they're just wasting his time. They're wasting their own time, and it's not gonna be a good outcome for them if they continue like this.
I
And
think that, like, I'll look at it from this perspective, right? I'm gonna pull up Seattle schedule just for me over here, just out of curiosity, because I want to see something. You know, they're already a month into the season, all right? Seattle's played 10 games, he's played half the games. If At what point does Ron Francis or Dave Haxtell, considering everything that's gone on and the fact that Shane Wright's been scratched, when does Dave Haxtell or um, Ron Francis turn around and say, okay, you know what? Maybe we need to send this guy down. Because look, you've got a game against Minnesota on the road. Then you have a game against Pittsburgh on the road. Then you come home to Nashville. Then you play Minnesota. Then you play Winnipeg. Your next 5 games are against teams that, let's be honest, you probably lose every single one of those games, realistically, right? So is this kid, if this kid is not going to play in the next 5 games, in the next 10 games, what are you keeping him there for?
Look,
Like, that's just how I see it.
look,
It just,
Kingston Frontenacs are in a bidding war essentially to become host of the Memorial Cup in 2024, right? Um, so I mean, look, he plays during that tournament. That's gonna be a huge draw, and not only that, let's say he does get Kingston does trade away his rights, and he goes to another OHL team, a team that's successful. Well, guess what? He's gonna be playing big minutes in big games,
on a
and
competitive
it's
team.
gonna sell tickets, right? He's obviously his name is marketable, right?
The other,
And
so,
and not only that, but like his family's gonna be able to watch him. He's gonna build his confidence, and then he's gonna come back better and stronger than ever. Because
my
this kid missed out. He missed games that would have helped him progress and helped him develop into that first overall caliber player. And he needs to make up for that time. So
my
sending
other
him down
concern,
is the best thing to do for him. And I think that's literally the last thing I'm gonna say concerning
I
Shane
have
Wright.
one last thing I want to say before we end it, but my biggest concern, or my worry, would be that if he doesn't play a game, or if he doesn't get a rhythm come World Juniors, there's going to be a problem. Because I think he makes the World Junior team. I think he's a lock no matter what. But
Imagine they don't send him.
that's exactly what I'm trying to say. This kid needs to play, and also not only that, Seattle needs to send him to the World Juniors if he's eligible to play and if he's able to go. And if he's able to go, he needs to have games on his belt before going. And the reason why I tell you that is because this Canada team is expected to be stacked. But not only that, if Shane Wright is not playing and his first official competitive game is going to be at the World Juniors, that's a problem. That's a big problem for his development. So we need Shane Wright to be A, ready for the World Juniors, but B, he needs to develop enough and gain a confidence so that when he gets into the World Juniors, because he's going to be competing with the guys with the likes of Zach Benson and Connor Bedard, who are going to be the highlight of Team Canada, and likely even maybe a guy like Adam Fantilli as well, right? So he's going to be competing with a lot of guys that are going to be draft eligible this year, right? So Shane Wright needs to go and kind of, make a statement in the World Juniors a little bit and ease the pressure. But if he's not playing and he doesn't have the confidence, he's not going to find that confidence, and he needs to go and find that confidence by either playing in the OHL or playing in the NHL. And if he's going to
Look,
play in the NHL, they have to play him on the
we're
power play
gonna
and put him in a situation.
yeah, we're gonna end it with this statement.
Yeah,
If you want results, the kid needs to play, essentially.
facts,
That's
100%.
what it comes to. And
Yeah,
guys, we're almost at 1.2K, or a couple of subscribers away. I don't know how many. So guys, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like this video and share this video to any person that's concerned about Shane Wright's development right now, or maybe a Seattle Kraken fan, if you want to be really specific on who you want to send this video to. But before that, before we end the episode, guys, if you're interested in Bet99, which this video is sponsored by, if you like fantasy hockey, football, or other casino games, the link of Bet99 is in the description below. You guys can use our code YoungGuns1, and you have to be 19 years old enough to play and play responsibly. And lastly, if you want to donate to the Mind Foundation, they're currently focused on neurological disease disorders and mental health in general. You guys can donate, and the link is in the description below. But guys, would like to hear your thoughts. Is it too early to call him a bust? Is he overrated? Is he underrated? We want to hear your takes, essentially. Make sure to write that in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns Podcast.